Now, I fear that the gnarls themselves may be accelerating the spread. Hey, welcome back to another Elder Scrolls book reading video. And today, we are looking at the living trees that rooted themselves within Sheogorath's Shivering Isles. The Gnarl. Walking through the woods on either side of the Isles will ensure a run-in with these oversized oak monsters. A description of their biology and lifestyles can be conveniently found here in the Living Woods, found inside the Books of Bliss. The Gnarl is a creature of the forest like no other. Away from the walls of New Sheoth, they are called the Walking Trees. Gnarl are known for their affinity with the elements. If a Gnarl is struck by the elemental forces of fire, frost, or shock, it uses that energy to grow, stronger and larger. Fortunately, this effect only lasts for a short time. It is the will of Sheogorath that the Gnarl confuse and bewilder the unwary mage. To that end, it gains resistance to the element it is struck with, but becomes weaker to the other two. The wily mage will quickly switch between elemental spells to take advantage of this. Lesser wizards will suffer if they continue to use the same spell over and over. In recent years, there have been rumors of smiths that are able to use the amber sap extracted from the Gnarl to make sturdy armor and weapons. As of yet, this gossip has not been confirmed. More is not known about the Gnarl than is known. No one has been able to determine the gender of a Gnarl, or if they even have them. Young or immature Gnarl have never been seen. One academic suggested that Gnarl are born full-formed from trees that are struck by lightning. This absurd suggestion has not been confirmed. Similarly, we have no knowledge of their diet or social habits. Presumably, they feed directly from the sun and earth, like trees do. There are no reported cases of them communicating, even among each other. However, they seem to have a truce of sorts with the other woodland creatures, such as the Bollywog and Elytra. This, for a while, was all the collective knowledge the Realm of Madness had on the Gnarl. That is, until a theory was presented by an unknown author. This Isle's resident believed he found a connection between these creatures and the very land itself. From deep in the roots that make up many of the Isle's sprawling dungeons to the peaks of the mushroom-like trees, it is all connected. But I don't want to spoil his heresy just yet, so let's just jump right in to their book, Bark and Sap, the root system and the ecology and culture of the Gnarl, which can also be found inside the Books of Bliss. Disclaimer. The editors wish to express that the views contained herein belong solely to the author and have been printed posthumously and anonymously. Before this present volume, little existed detailing the root system tunnels and the Gnarl but rumors, superstitions, and outright falsities. After consideration of such rumors, and after much research and expedition into the root systems to see the Gnarl in their natural habitat firsthand, this author will elucidate the ecology and culture of the Gnarl, the nature of the root system, and their symbiotic relationship. Commonly believed to be a series of natural caverns and rock formations with roots and foliage growing within, the root system tunnels are, in fact, a part of a giant living organism. Not only are these tunnels a living, organic, root-like entity, but each of the so-called root dungeons represent a smaller piece of a larger whole. The roots of all the trees, indeed of most the plant life on the Isles, all connect directly to the large root system. The various twisting and turning tunnels have been created slowly over past millennia. Indeed, the growth and motion of the roots is imperceptible, though definitely recordable. The very fast-growing tunnels increase at a rate of a few feet every month, and the slowest a few inches every few decades. Amber is a colorful resin formed from hardened sap. Much like skin bleeds in scabs over to protect a wound, the root system tunnels bleed a sap that congeals and hardens into amber deposits. Even still, the walls of the roots are very resilient. Swinging a sword at the wall is not enough to puncture it. The large fissures that cause the appearance of amber are the result of the massive pressures and frictional forces encountered by the giant roots as they push through tons of rock and dirt. The current and best theory describes the Gnarl as the caretakers and stewards of the root system. The creatures tend to the general maintenance and cleaning of the tunnels, clearing away excess amber. This behavior has been observed directly, but observation time was limited due to the aggressive nature of the Gnarl. However, the abundance of amber found on the corpses of the creatures further supports this view. There have been some conjecture, though at present very little evidence to support the claim, that the Gnarl grow. They eventually become too large to maneuver the tunnels and eventually fuse to the walls, becoming themselves part of the root system. As to the recent claims of giant Gnarl, it should be noted that no credible sources exist to corroborate. However, even were these reports to be true, the rarity of such sightings would suggest that only very few Gnarl grow large enough to ascend to this root state. Little is known about the natural lifespan of the Gnarl or their social behavior, since observational expeditions into the root system are difficult at best. We do know with certainty that they are very territorial. The Gnarl are so protective of their tunnels that they will respond aggressively to anyone who comes within sight, which makes studying their social systems nigh impossible. This behavior has, however, provided us with an abundance of corpses to study at our leisure. When we analyze the corpses of a dead Gnarl, we can see clearly that these creatures are made entirely of plant material. They are covered in bark and leaves, and over time they decompose, similarly to other plant detritus. All attempts to plant gnarls or parts thereof into the ground have been proven simple folly. To date, we don't actually know how the gnarl reproduce. Upon examination, we have found nothing that looks like a brain as found in other sentient creatures. This does lend credence to the symbiotic caretaker theory, suggesting a kind of hive mentality, though there have been no substantiated sightings of any such queen gnarl who might be controlling the drones. The other available explanation is that it is magic that animates these creatures, though this author finds resolving difficult questions in this manner to be counterproductive to the development of a rational theory. The complex root is a living organism that grows little by little each month, tunneling beneath the land. Virtually all plant life on the Isles is connected to this root system. Severe trauma to the system walls results in the formation of amber deposits as part of its natural defense mechanism. The root system has a symbiotic relationship with the gnarl, who act as its protectors and caretakers, and who may be phonetically and physiologically connected to the root system itself. In short, we have a living system with its own dedicated staff of protector caretakers, growing and developing largely unnoticed beneath our very feet. Here the editors wish to acknowledge that the author was found dead near the entrance to one of the root dungeons. We again wish to remind the reader that the opinions expressed by this author are his own. While we do not dismiss the rational method employed by the author in his studies, While we certainly do not deny that magic is explanation enough for our Lord Sheogorath's many wondrous blessings, we did, however, carefully consider omitting this clearly treasonous second half. We have decided to include it for journalistic integrity and at the request of his generous widow. And now, I will venture towards that theoretical discussion which draws near heresy, which I dare say will one day be the end of me, but which I must put forward, for good or ill. The common belief is that our Lord Sheogorath has blessed our land with two temperaments, mania and dementia. However, after much study and reasoning, I believe that it is the very realm itself that imposes upon us these two spheres of polar extremes. I've devised a clever experiment whereby I seek to prove this theory. If you take a flower from a common plant, cut it, and place its stem in water with dye in it, you will notice that the petals will slowly take on the color of the dye. Clearly, the veins of the plant transport the color to the leaves. Now, when we look at the dementia side of the land, the colors are muted and dark, and in the mania side, bright and colorful. I believe the root system and the gnarl that serve it are draining the color from the land of dementia and giving it to the land of mania. For what purpose? It isn't clear. But my experiment shows how color is transported through plant veins. And what bigger system of plant veins is there than the giant root system tunnel network? Is it not then obvious that this system is the conduit of the forces of mania and dementia? And do we not eat the plant and the fruit of the trees that connect to the root system and the beasts that feed on them, and drink the waters that fall from their leaves? Do we not breathe the air that carries their spores and seeds? Do we not throw our own waste onto the ground to be absorbed into the soil? Thus, are we not intimately connected to the giant root system under our feet? Surely, we are one with it. Clearly, the root system is feeding those of us in the mania brilliant color, giving us our mood swings, filling our hearts with passion and sensations, and giving us powerful urges by stealing these things from our fellows in dementia, leaving them dark, desperate, angry, violent, and disturbed. Sheogorath is not the source of our gifts. It is the land itself that has unbalanced us so. The Gnarl are the servants and lifeblood of this parasitic process. If we were to kill all of the Gnarl, the balance would be restored. Mania would be less bright, true, but so would dementia be less dark. We and our world would become whole again. Let go of your belief in the collective fantasy of Sheogorath. Let go of your belief in your own special gifts. We must destroy the Gnarl and the root system. We must destroy those who shackle us to belief in some haughty and aloof ruler who toys with our emotions and well-being. To arms, brothers and sisters. To arms! Hey! Thanks for watching that thing you just watched. I really don't know how I feel about this type of theory, just because it really kind of just demystifies a lot of what I think is special about the Daedra and the Daedric princes in the Daedric realms. It's so much more fascinating to think that these cosmic beings created their little pockets of oblivion from nothing, and if this is true, that the root system and the Gnarl are the things that are giving the Shivering Isles its insanity, not Sheogorath. It kind of means there's potentially other rational examples for like why the other Daedric realms are the way they are, that aren't just the Daedric lord of that topic is in control of that realm, and that's, I don't know, that's just boring to me. While on the other hand, it makes things like Giub, the lord of the pit, which I also did a video on, make a lot more sense if it is a group of heretics worshipping the tentacle-like roots of the root system instead of Sheogorath, but whatever. Doesn't matter what I think. What do you think? Let me know in comment below. Also do that good liking and subscribing stuff. I really appreciate it. And of course, as always, remember, with the pool cleansed, the fount of madness will be restored.